Okay, now, so we go to the last topic for value-added tax, and we have VAT credits. Sitting VAT credits are similar in nature and function with the other tax credits that we have discussed before. But we have discussed before yung um, tax credits on donor's tax as well as the tax credits for estate tax. So ito naman, tax credits mo ito for value-added tax. So in the same way na yung tax credits for donors tax and estate tax represents payments for taxes, ito rin yun. Ang VAT credits, ganun din. Yung mga uri ng VAT credits ay they are forms of yung mga VAT, mga credits natin from value-added tax are by way of payments or excess payments. So you have excess input tax. Ito naman yung nabanggit ko from the last video na kapag ang input tax mo ay mas mataas from your regular 12% value-added tax, meron kang tinatawag na excess input tax na hindi mo pwedeng i-claim for tax refund kasi nga, based on the last video, dapat ang input tax mo ay allocated or binabangga mo siya sa zero-rated transactions or effectively zero-rated transactions para maging refundable siya. Kung siya ay nag-arise out of a regular 12% or domestic transaction, then any excess of the input tax over the output tax will not be claimed as or cannot be claimed as tax credit. Okay? Excess input tax siya at ang gagawin mo sa kanya ay i-carry over mo siya. I-carry over mo siya sa future taxable periods. Don't worry, meron tayong illustration, comprehensive illustration on this one. Okay, next ay monthly VAT payments. For monthly VAT payments naman, to recall, I already mentioned to you before na ang taxable period natin for value-added tax ay quarter. Diba? For income tax, ang taxable period natin ay annual. Although nagka-file ka ng quarterly returns, ang taxable period ay annual. Yung quarterly returns mo, they are just, we can consider them as estimates. Ina-estimate mo lang for what will happen for the entire year. Although syempre they are based pa rin naman on records. Pero that is just an estimation of your tax liability for the year. Ito, quarterly. So, ibig sabihin, every quarter is considered as a taxable period for VAT purposes. Okay, so ang quarter ay consisting of 3 months. So, yung January, for an individual taxpayer or a corporate taxpayer, using calendar year as their taxable year, ang quarter mo ay 3 buwan. Ang first quarter will consist of January, February, and March. So how do you deal with the reporting? So magkakaroon ng mga transactions for the month of January. So, January 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hanggang January 31. Magkakaroon ka ng sale transactions, exportations, importations, purchases, etc. etc. Mangyayari yan lahat dito. So ang gagawin mo, maggagawa ka ng report. It is referred to as SLS or SLP, summary listing of sales and summary listing of purchases for the first month. Yun lang. Kung ano lang nangyari, kung ano lang yung sales and output tax for January, kung ano lang yung sales and purchases and input tax for January. Kung magkano lang yung exportation for January, kung magkano lang yung importation for January. I-report mo lang talaga solely kung ano yung mga transactions or yung mga VAT items mo for the month of January. Kailan mo siya i-report? On the next month. Specifically on the 20th day of the subsequent month. Meaning, kung ang tinutukoy natin ay transactions which transpired on January, then ang deadline mo for the filing of your return, which is 2550M, ay February 20. So for the month of February, ganun uli, for the month of February, magkakaroon ka na naman ng mga transactions from February 1 to February 28 or 29, whichever is the case. So tuloy mo lang, no? Mag-operate ka lang. Siyempre, for the POS, automatic naman ito, madali namang mag-generate ng information. For the manual, medyo mas mahirap. So, yun lang. Tuloy-tuloy mo lang yung recording mo nandyan for the month of February. Then, magkakaroon ka na naman ng summary. Summary listing for purchases and summary listing of sales. Kailangan mo bang i-accumulate yung nangyari ng January sa February? Hindi. Ang gagawin mo lang, kung ano lang yung transactions mo for February. Meaning, kung magkano yung sales mo, exportation and output tax for February, kung magkano yung purchases mo and importation mo for and the input tax for February. Yun yung i-report mo, yung 28 days na yan, again, sa subsequent month, which is March, specifically March 20. Na pagdating ng pangatlong buwan, magkakaroon uli ng transactions from March 1 until March 31. And then, i-report mo siya. But your reporting will not be limited to what happened in March. Dahil naka-quarter ka na, anong gagawin mo? I-accumulate mo yan. You will not be reporting what happened in March. Ang gagawin mo, i-report mo kung magkano yung sales mo and exportation for January, February, and March, output tax mo for January, February, and March, purchases mo, importation mo, input tax mo for January, February, and March. So hindi mo siya i-isolate. Yung third month of every quarter, hindi mo siya i-report as a separate month. Always report it. You will always have to report it as a quarter for the entire quarter na yun. Kaya naman, yung reporting mo for the end of the quarter, although next month din siya, will no longer fall on the 20th day. 25th day na siya. Siguro may additional 5 days kasi nga, meron ka pang additional task of accumulating or summarizing or including yung transactions mo ng January and February dun sa third month. Again, the deadlines will be 20th day of the first month for the first month, 20th day also for the first month, and 25th day for the quarter. So 20, 20, and then 25. Ganun yung reporting natin for value added tax. Ngayon, kapag ikaw ay nag-prepare na ng quarterly return mo, kung ano man yung binayad mo, quarterly return na, kung ano man yung binayad mo for the monthly returns will serve as tax credit dito. So pag meron kang binayaran for the month of January, bayaran mo lang siya. Kung meron kang tax liability ng February, wag mong kunin yung monthly payment. Dito. Itong February, hindi niya pwedeng gamitin as tax credit yung binayaran niyo for January. Una, kasi hindi naman sila accumulated. Kung sakali nag-accumulate sila, then that's logical. That's okay na i-claim mo as tax credit yung binayaran mo ng January for the month of February. Kaya lang sa VAT system natin, hindi naman tayo nag-accumulate for the first and the second month. Kaya kung ano man yung binayaran mo kung ano man yung liability mo for February, yun na yun. Hindi mo pwedeng gamitin yung January as a tax credit. Pero pagdating ng third month of the quarter, again, mag-accumulate ka. Yung reason behind kung bakit sila tax credit is because yung mga transactions mo for the first and the second month, nataksan na yon, nabayaran mo na. Ang nangyari, the very same transactions na ni-report mo for the first and the second month, i-report mo uli for the quarter. Kaya included uli sila dito. Mag-compute ka uli ng tax mo for the quarter. Kung hindi i-allow na yung first and payments mo for the first and second month ay mag-serve as tax credit for the quarter, that would amount to a double taxation. Kasi tinaksa mo na on the monthly declaration, tapos tataksan mo uli on the quarterly. So para hindi siya mag-amount to a double taxation scheme ng government natin, kapag nag-report ka ng quarterly returns mo, which includes yung mga transactions mo for January and February, you are allowed to claim yung mga payments mo for January and February as tax credit for March. Again, medyo tawag dito, ideal lang siya, abstract lang siya. Ano ba yung nangyayari? Meron tayong sample problem for that. Advance payments naman, itong advance VAT payments ay applicable lamang on certain items. Ibig sabihin, you have to make a deposit with an authorized agent bank before you are allowed to engage or to sell those items. Kasi kaya nga advance VAT payments, nauuna yung VAT payments bago yung transaction. So example of items or commodities which requires advanced VAT payments ay sugar at saka flour, not flour, flour, harina. So asukal at saka harina, yan, kapag yan yung business mo, you are required to make advanced VAT payments. So anong gagawin mo? So nag-compute ka ngayon. Kunyari, so nag-deposit na ako 10 million. For example lang, 10 million in an escrow account. Diyan na siya, so meron ng pondo yon 10 million. So for the month of January, ko-compute ako. Ito yung benta ko for asukal, ito yung benta ko for flour. So may output tax ako ngayon dyan. Kung meron akong applicable na input tax, bawas ko sila. So meron akong VAT payable. Yung VAT payable ko, babawasan ko ngayon yan ng advance VAT payment. Meron na nandoon na sa authorized agent bank yung payment. So ibabawas ko siya ngayon. So kung output ko minus input is let's say 4 million, I will not have to pay that amount 4 million. Ang gagawin ko, i-claim ko as tax credit yung naka-deposit na as advance VAT payment. So 4 million minus 4 million, zero na ako ngayon. Kasi yun naman talaga ang purpose ng VAT credit. They are the reduction or they will reduce your VAT liability. So syempre, ma-exhaust yung deposit mo. So kailangan mo siyang i-replenish para i-allow ka uli ng BIR na mag-operate or magbenta ng mga produkto. So also subject to or required to make advance VAT payments ay yung mga engaged in timber operations. Timber. And then VAT withheld. So with VAT withholding, ito yung mga generally ito yung nag-a-apply kapag meron kang transactions with the government. So kapag ikaw nakipag-transact ka with the government, kasi ganito yung principle behind it. 'Di ba? Kapag ako ay nagbenta, yung pinagbentahan ko, I will charge him or her the VAT. Ipapasa niya sa akin 'yon. Kasama yun sa ibabayad niya sa akin. Yung output, 'di ba? Yung output tax na sisingilin ko sa kanya, which is input sa part niya, sisingilin ko 'yon, akin na 'yon. So, kung ang selling price ng commodity ay 100,000, ang sisingilin ko dun sa taxpayer, dun sa buyer ay 112,000. The 100,000 representing my revenue, my sales, yung 12,000 additional 12,000 will represent the VAT component. And then from that, ibabawas ko kung ano man yung available ko na input tax. And then, let's say, meron ako input tax na, let's say, 9,000. 12,000 minus 9,000, 3,000. Yun yung VAT payable ko. So yung VAT payable ko, i-remit ko ngayon pabalik, papunta yan sa government. So yung normal na sitwasyon the normal situation, if the government is not your katransak, hindi siya yung katransak mo, yung customer mo will give you 12,000. Yan. The customer will provide you 12,000. Ito yung output tax. Tapos ibabawas mo yung available mo na input tax, for example, 9,000. Meron kang may iwan na VAT payable na 3,000. This one will go to the government. Ganyan yung buhay kung ititrace mo yung VAT na napupunta sa government, ganyan siya. Galing siya sa customer mo, and then papasa siya sa'yo, papunta siya sa'yo. Kung may input tax ka, babawas mo yon, and then yung remainder, i-remit mo sa government. Nag-a-arise yung withholding kapag ito ay government din. Kasi if you will just look at the situation, yung government, kung walang system of VAT withholding, yung government, i-remit niya sa'yo yun, ibibigay niya sa'yo yung 12, babawas mo yung 9, tapos yung 3, babalik mo sa government. Ganon? Diba? Since nasa kanya na nga yung pera, nasa kanya na yung payment, might as well, i-withhold na lang niya. Total sa kanya rin naman mapupunta yun eh. Diba? So, kaya nag-come up yung tax code natin ng system of withholding para hindi na iikot yung pera, hindi na i-remit. Diba sabi ng government, ito na yung 12K mo na sinisingil mo sa akin. O, hihintayin ko yung yung pag-remit mo ng VAT pabalik sa akin. Diba? So, to facilitate the collection of the value-added tax, especially with respect to transactions where the government is involved, meron tayong VAT withholding. So, anong gagawin ng government? Yung 12K mo na simulan natin, yung 100 mo, bayan yung 100 mo na selling price, meron niyang additional 12K. So, ang total receivable mo from the government, 112,000. Disregard muna natin yung income tax, yung withholding tax ng on income. Let us concentrate para maintindihan natin ng lubusan ito. Let us concentrate on the VAT component. So meron kang 112,000 na claim sa government, that includes the VAT. Ang gagawin ng government, ibabawas na ngayon yung withholding. Magkano i-withhold niya? 5%. Why 5%? Ang gagawin ng government, the VAT is 12%, and then isi-set niya yung standard input tax at 7%. Ba't niya kailangan mag-set ng standard? Kasi hindi naman siya aware kung magkano talaga yung input tax. Diba? Kasi yung input tax, yung information about the input tax, ay nasa taxpayer lang. Ikaw lang nakakaalam kung magkano yung purchases mo. Pero yung computation ng output tax, kaya ng government yun. Alam niya kung magkano yung output tax mo, especially on the transactions na involved siya. Diba? Aware siya dun. Ako yung customer dito, ako yung client dito. I know kung magkano yung output tax mo. Pero kung magkano mo binili, yung binenta mo sa akin, that I don't know. Ito aware siya dito sa 12K. Bakit siya aware diyan? Party siya to the transaction eh. Hindi niya pwedeng sabihin, ay hindi ko alam yung output. Ano paano hindi mo alam? Eh, ikaw nga yung party dito. Alam mo yan. So, alam niya yung output. Pero itong input, hindi talaga siya party diyan. Malay niya kung magkano mo binili yung produkto na binebenta mo sa kanya. O kung magkano yung purchases mo. Alam niya kung magkano yung sales, but the purchases, hindi niya alam. Okay? Actually, kaya naman niyang alamin, but it would be burdensome and cumbersome on the part of the government to ask each and every supplier of the government, magkano mo binili ito? O ikaw, nagbenta ka sa amin ng chalk, magkano mo binili yan? O ikaw, nag-provide ka ng services sa amin, magkano yung puhunan mo doon? Magkano yung mga supplies na ginamit mo? Ikaw, nag-provide ka ng sa amin, IT equipment, magkano mo binili? Actually, pwede niyang gawin, kaya lang, it would be impractical. Lahat ng supplier, daming supplier ng government. Iba bogus pa. Tanungin mo isa-isa yon, no? Tatanungin mo isa-isa yon. So, to facilitate, no, para hindi mahirapan yung government natin in determining kung magkano ba talaga yung dapat niyang i-withhold, nag-set na ng standard. The normal computation of input tax is based on the purchase price. Since the government does not know your purchase price, itong 7% na standard input tax is now based on the selling price. So the output is 12% of the selling price. Ito yung input na hindi computed on the purchase price. Kaya siya kakaiba eh. Kaya kino-consider ko rin to as special tax credit, special input tax. Special input tax kasi ito yung input tax na hindi computed based on purchases. Diba? Hindi siya based on how much is the purchase of the taxpayer. It is, in fact, kakaiba nga ito dahil computed siya based on the selling price. Anyway, system of computation lang naman ito para ma-facilitate yung withholding. Ang may iwan ngayon dyan, syempre, algebraically, will be 5% of the selling price, which will be withheld. So the selling price here is 100,000. The 5% of that will be 5,000. Okay, so magkano makukuha mo from the government? 107,000. Yung 107,000 na yan, again, dinisregard natin yung implication ng income tax. Kasi supposedly meron pa tong expanded withholding tax, but disregard ko muna siya. 107,000 is now your amount to be received. Pag nag-bill ka sa government ng 112,000, you will not receive 112,000. You will receive 107,000 net of the withholding VAT. Net of the withholding VAT. Okay? I hope that's clear. Malinis na siya. Wala na withhold na yung VAT component. Paano siya mag-a-apply? Pag inano mo siya, 112, pag nag-compute ka, 12 yan, di ba? Yung VAT component mo. Output tax will be 12. input tax mo will be 7. Bakit 7? Kasi nga standard input tax ito. So, ang VAT payable mo supposedly is 5,000. But you will no longer pay 5,000. Bakit? Kasi nga na-withhold na yan. Yun yung mangyayari, magiging VAT credit na siya. VAT credit by way of VAT withheld, 5,000. Magkano binideld sa'yo? 5,000. Ito yun, no? Yan. Yan yung binideld sa'yo. Para ang babayaran mo na lang on this transaction ay wala. Kasi nga na-withhold na siya. So, ganun nag-work yung system of withholding. Okay. So, as promised, sabi ko sa inyo, we will have a problem involving excess input tax, monthly VAT payments. Okay. So, I will pause muna yung recording so I can pull out naman yung problem. Okay. So, supposedly, may dalawang nakashare na screen ngayon. I don't know how that works. Pero, actually, hindi ko siya nakikita ngayon. Pero, supposedly, may dalawang screen na nakashare. Yan. Ito yung problem natin. So, yung problem natin ay 3 buwan. Tatlong buwan, which is 1 quarter. So, you have here January, February, and then March. So, yung first line natin ay exportation, 2,400,000 which happened in February. Then you have local sales. Nangyari ng January, 900,000. These are all net of the VAT. 1,500,000 for February, 2 million for March. Okay, now for installment sales, meron tayong discussion on this one. Meron siyang selling price na 500,000. Yung first payment happened in February and then in March. Another installment sales, the selling price is 500,000, 25,000 in February and then March. Consignment, every first day of the month, we also discussed this one. Kung ano effect ng consignment. January is 400, February 600, March 400. Consignment every 15th day of the month, 500, 1 million, and then 900,000. Local purchases, 500, 900, and 1,200,000. Importation, which happened in March, 500,000, and then finally 2 million and 750,000 purchase of equipment with estimated useful life of 6 years. Okay. So, nandito sa aking Excel, Microsoft Excel, yung magiging computation niya. So, same lang naman yung information. Yan. Confirm ko lang. Same lang siya. So, close ko na tong yung isa. I don't know what will happen. Ayan, andyan siya. So, let us talk about the month of March. Wait lang ha. So, for the month of March, walang exportation. So, 0 lang yan. 0. And then, local sales na 900,000 will give us output VAT. So, that's 12%. Amounting to 108. Wala pang installment sales dito for January. So, wala pa yan. Consignment sales, walang excess input tax, tanggalin natin ito. Consignment sales, 400,000. So, ang sabi natin, for consignment sales to be considered as sold, or deemed sold rather, dapat tumakbo ang period ng 60 days. Kung ang consignment sales ay nangyayari, nawala yung screenshot. Kung ang consignment sales ay nangyayari every first day of the month, ito 15th day. Consignment sales, lagay natin first day sa 15th day. First day of the month, January 1 nangyari yung consignment. As of January 31 na nagre-report ka, wala pang 60-day period. So, hindi pa siya din sold. Ito din, kung January 15 nangyari yung transaction, hindi pa siya din sold. Local purchases will give us an input tax amounting to, so ina-negative natin, amounting to 60,000. So, negative na siya ngayon. Importation, walang importation for the month of January. Then purchase of equipment, 2 million. Anong rule natin? If ang cost ng purchase price ng iyong depreciable asset ay lumagpas ng 1 million na threshold per month, monthly threshold, you're allowed to amortize the input tax on the purchase of that depreciable asset. You can amortize the input tax over the period of the estimated useful life of that asset, but not to exceed 60 months. And also provided, according to the train law, that the concerned depreciable asset is purchased on or before December 31, 2021. Okay? So, anong gagawin natin? Maglagay lang tayo dito ng computation. Sa gilid muna, 2 million times 12%. So, the input tax on this transaction ay 240,000. I-defer mo yan ngayon divided by 60 months. Although I understand that the useful life of this asset ay 6 years. Tama ba? Which is 6 times 12, 72 months. We cannot make use of 72 months as the number of months for the amortization. Ang maximum na number of months for the amortization ay 60 months lamang. So every month, for the next 60 months, meron kang i-recognize na 4,000. So 4,000 times 60, 240 para ma-utilize mo ng buo yung input tax. So minus 4,000 tayo ngayon dito. So 108,000 minus 60 and then 4 will give us 44,000. So yan ngayon yung ating VAT na babayaran for the month of January, which is due on or before February 20. February 20. Now, VAT for February. So meron ka ngayong zero-rated transaction, zero yan. Kung gusto mo, 2,400,000 times 0. Lagay mo ganyan. Para sure. Para lang sure. Gamit mo yung calculator mo. Just to be sure. The local sales, 1,500,000. Are we required to accumulate? No. So, gagawin mo lang, compute the 12% value added tax on that. So, you have 180. Installment sales for 500,000. Yung first payment ay 10,000. February, March, 10,000. And then, I will just presume na dire-diretso yan 10,000 hanggang maubos mo yung 500,000. So, ang tanong natin, since installment sales yan, are we allowed to amortize to recognize the output tax also in installment? Anong rule natin? If the initial payments will not exceed 25% of the selling price, we are allowed to amortize or to recognize it also on installment. So kung 10,000 ang kanyang babayaran at siya ay nag-start ng February, that would be 11 months. For the year na nangyari yung transaction, 110,000 yung kanyang makokolekta. 110,000 divided by 500,000 selling price. Tama ba? Yan, 500,000 selling price. That will give us 22%. At dahil 22% ito at hindi lumagpas ng 25%, allowed siyang i-recognize yung output tax on installment. So, magkano uli yung output tax? 500,000. Ito, 500,000. The selling price times 12%. Ito yung VAT rate natin. Times 10,000 divided by 500. Kasi ito lang yung portion na nakolekta niya. So that's 1,200. Okay. Next ay installment sales, another 500,000. So ang mangyayari, 25,000, yun yung nakolekta niya for February on this installment sale. So from February to December of this year, times 12. So 300,000. So 300,000 divided by 500,000. 300,000 divided by 500,000. Ano nangyayari? That will give us 60%. Dahil 60% yon, hindi siya allowed na i-recognize yung VAT on installment. So ang gagawin mo, you have to report the entire VAT component as output tax for the month of February. Now, consignment sales, February 1. February 1, as of February 28, ay hindi pa nagsi-60 days. Correct ba? Siyempre. How about in January 1? 400,000. January 1 is 31 days. February natin ay 28 days. 59 days lang. So, hindi pa rin. Ganon din tong second consignment. Okay, so, wala tayong i-recognize na output dito. Itong local purchases will yield an input tax amounting to 108,000. Wala pa ring importation for February. And then meron siyang depreciable asset na binili, value 750,000. Pwede niya bang i-amortize yung input tax in the amount of 12% of 750? 90,000? Hindi maaari. Bakit hindi? Kasi hindi naman lumagpas ng 100,000 yung cost ng depreciable asset na yan. So, dahil hindi niya pwedeng i-amortize, magkano ang pwede niyang i-claim as input tax with respect to the purchases of equipment? Ang sagot natin ay 94,000. Sir, 90,000 lang. Correct, 90,000 lang for February. Pero to recall, for the month of January, meron kang 4,000 na ina-amortize over a period of 60 months, meaning a portion of the amortization of the input tax on the purchase of equipment for the month of January will be recognized in February and March, April, May until makumpleto niya yung 60-month period. Okay? So anong gagawin natin dito? Sum na natin. So meron siya ngayong babayaran na 39,200 for the month of February, which will have to be settled on or before March 20 of the same year, syempre, next month niya. Okay? Pwede niyo bang i-claim as tax credit yung January? Syempre, hindi. Kasi independent of each other yung first 2 months of the quarter. Now, for the month of March. Ipat ka lang calculator ko dito. For the month of March, anong sabi natin? Kailangan mong mag-accumulate. So, magkano ang accumulated export sales mo? 2,400,000. 2,400,000 times 0%. Ganun compute tayo. 0. Wow, 0. Now, local sales. Anong gagawin mo for the local sales? Ang gagawin mo, 900,000 plus 1,500,000 plus 2 million times 12%. So, 528,000 yung VAT mo for the entire quarter. You don't compute for the third month alone. Hindi nangyayari yan. Don't waste your time doing it. Okay? Installment sales dito. So, magkano ngayon ang i-recognize mong VAT? 2,400. Bakit 2,400? Kasi nga mag-accumulate ka. Since in-installment natin yung recognition ng output tax for the first installment sales, 2,100 na yung na-accumulate mo as of the month of March. For the quarter pala. Hindi per quarter, hindi mag-accumulate uli ito ng next month, ng next quarter ha. Yung accumulation ginagawa lang per month. So pag nag-start ka ng April, walang kinalaman yung mga nangyari ng January, February, and March for the month of April unless merong excess input tax. Pero ang point ko, magkano ang with respect to this transaction, ito, magkano ang input tax for April 1-2, for April, May 1-2. For the quarter, 3-6, tatlong 1-2 ang ilalagay mo. Diba? Next, installment sales for 500,000 uli, pero mas mataas yung kanyang mga binabayaran. Dahil na-recognize na lahat ng February, wala ka ng additional na i-recognize for March. So, 60,000 lang ito. Sir, na-recognize na? Oo nga, na-recognize na siya ng February, pero dahil na nag-accumulate ka for the quarter, papasok uli yung 60,000 na yan for the quarter ending March. Consignment sales, January, yung January 1st mo na 400,000 on the assumption na ito ay unsold and unreturned, itong 400,000 na to, hindi itong 400,000 for the March, itong for the month of March, itong 400,000 for the month of January. Kasi January 1 to March 31, tumakbo na yan ng 60 days. Kaya recognize mo na yung output VAT dyan. Dito, January 15, 31 days minus 15, that's 16 days for January, 28 days for February, and 31 days for March. 75 days. So, pasok na rin. So, ito lalagyan mo na, i-recognize mo na dito yung 12% VAT. 60,000. Okay? Local purchases, anong gagawin natin? Negative 500 minus, mali. Negative, close parenthesis. 500, tama ba ito? Ganito na lang. 500 plus 900 plus 1, 2 times negative 0.12. Yan. Pwede naman, di ba? Computational wise, pwede yan. So, ang total input tax natin for the quarter ending March ay 312,000, which includes the input tax already recognized last January and February. Importation, so meron siyang importation transaction for March. Kahit accumulate mo, wala namang kwenta kasi wala namang importation na nangyari in January and February. So, ang gagawin mo, 500 times negative 60. How about with respect to the equipment? So, you have 90,000 for the month of February and then tatlong 4,000. Correct? No? Coming from January. So, 90,000 negative 90,000 minus 12 kasi 4,000 times 3, 12. So, you have negative 102. Okay? So, pwede mo nang i-total ito. So, for this month, you have 224,400. Again, ang nangyari is that yung 44,000 na ito ay nandiyan din sa loob ng quarter na yan. Binayaran niya na yan eh. Kasi in-include mo to eh. Doon, papasok doon. Ito in-include mo doon. Eh nagbayad na siya for this and for this. It's only fair na, dapat lang naman, and logical lang naman, na itong 44,000 at itong 39,200 ay ibawas. Kaya, ang mangyayari ay VAT payable 141,200. 141,200. Okay. Okay, so isipin nyo. Pwede nyo palang i-post. No? Kung kailangan nyo i-post yung video, then you post it out. Okay. Now, meron akong idadagdag na information. Yun yung nakalagay dito kanina. What if meron siyang, ito additional to, excess input tax amounting to, let's say, 20,000. Para nagkaroon ng excess input tax, let us just assume December. Quarter ending December. That's last year. Last year, yung last quarter, bago itong problem natin ngayon, ang kanyang total output tax for the 3-month period for the entire quarter ay 1 million. Ang total input tax niya ay 1,020,000. So nagkaroon siya ngayon ng excess input tax na 20,000. Kung hindi naman yung zero-rated transaction, hindi niya pwedeng ipa-refund. Anong gagawin niya? I-carry over niya. Napunta ngayon dito sa quarter na to. Andito tayo ngayon. Ang tanong, kung meron kang excess input tax na 20,000 coming from the last quarter, taxable quarter, Ang tanong ko ay magkano ang magiging VAT payable niya for this quarter. Same original problem with the additional information na meron kang excess input tax na 20,000 coming from the previous quarter. Magkano ang magiging tawag dito, VAT payable mo, ang original mo 141,200, no? For this quarter with that added information of excess input tax. Okay? You may pause the video if you want to compute for yourself. Yung iba sa inyo might choose to answer, bawasan na lang to ng 20,000, di ba? 141,200 minus 20, that's the easiest answer. Gagawin ko siyang 121,200. Diba? 121,200. Yung iba baka maisipang idagdag. For some reason, idadagdag nila. Go, so be it. Gusto mo? 161,200. O yung iba, i-divide nila sa 20,000 to. I don't know why you would do that. Pero go ahead. 141,200 divided by 20,000 kung gusto mo. Or yung iba, same answer lang. 141,200. Which is the correct answer. 141,200 lang. Pa rin. Sabihin mo, wow, possible ba yun? Meron kang additional information na excess input tax. Pero yung VAT liability mo for the quarter, 141,200 pa rin. Yes. Okay. Let us prove that. Kung ang excess input tax mo from the previous quarter ay 20,000, anong gagawin mo dyan? Gagamitin mo yan para mapababa itong VAT liability mo dito. So, from 44,000, i-negative natin para makita nyo. Yan. From 44,000, ang kanyang VAT liability ay magiging 24,000 na lang. Okay. Paburahin natin ito. 24,000. Okay, that's for the month of January. Now, for the month of February, walang mangyayari kasi nga, January is independent of February. The first 2 months of each quarter is independent of each other. So, the same answer, wala na to. 39,200 pa rin. Ay. What will happen for the month of March? So, ito, ganun pa rin. Actually, mula dito hanggang dito, same pa rin. Kung hindi nyo maalala kung paano nangyari yan, i-rewind nyo lang ng konti para makuha ninyo yung kung paano nakuha itong mga amount na yan. Pero paano tayo mag-aaral sa 22,400? Doon sa answer natin kanina. Tandaan nyo, may excess input tax tayo dito na 20,000. Sasabihin mo, uulitin yung 20,000? Opo, uulitin. And in fact, di naman talaga siya umuulit. Kaya ano kung nangyari? Ina-accumulate mo lang. Diba? Accumulation ito eh. Diba? January, and then February, whatever is nangyari ng January and February, lahat yan dadagdag doon sa month of March. Nag-accumulate ka. So kung meron kang claim na excess input tax from the previous quarter, doon sa month of January, makakarating yan doon sa month of March. Actually, for the quarter ending March, not for the month of March. Sa ano pang mga available mong tax credit? Yung binayaran mo for the month of January, magkano binayaran mo for the month of January? 24,000. And finally, magkano binayaran mo for the month of February? 39,200. Anong answer natin? 141,200 pa rin. Same lang. Same. Okay? So that's it for the VAT credits. So if you need time to absorb itong mga nandito, then so be it. Then pause lang ninyo yung video. Kaya lang, baka magsawa kayo dyan sa mukha ko. Takpan na lang ninyo ng logo or whatever. In the meantime, that's it for value-added tax. I can now discuss yung percentage taxes. Okay, bye-bye and see you on the next video.